I take criticism very gracefully. I've never ever come out and spoken about it.
Yeah.
But just because you are okay with taking a punch doesn't mean you like being punched. But then you kind of get used to being punched. You accept, and then you start believing that you are actually not where you put yourself. You're actually where people are trying to put you down.
Yeah.
And that's the fight. That's the inner struggle, and that's something that you have to fight through. You have to rise to the occasion. You have to turn the non-believers into believers, like we spoke about. But the struggle is constant. There's a push and pull. To watch Simba do, I was like, boss, we're in Singham. I was stuttering with my lines slightly. And I'm very good with lines normally. And I was like, what's happening to me? And I kind of remembered that I've not shot a film in a long time. Carrying this woman off, I do not believe anybody can touch me.
Yeah.
Because I'm protected and guarded. And what I'm doing is absolutely fine because it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
Fridays always just be there silently. Even if you know the truth, and even if it's doing really well, just be there silently.
Yeah.
Because Saturday can change things and Monday can destroy things.
Yeah.
My Fridays are not the best. Off late, obviously, but...
Hey guys, my name is Shavansha, and today I'm going to be having a conversation with somebody who I admire a lot. And to introduce him, I'm actually going to read a post that he's posted today on Instagram. The post goes like this. From trolling him for everything to him being the most talked about man in Singham again, Arjun Kapoor has given a performance of lifetime as villain. Presenting Arjun Kapoor in the house. What is up? How are you doing?
Thank you. Pehle batate the if you're going to, I would have kept my Instagram ready and kept swiping. We would have just
I was there on that post.
Yeah, we would have just shown meme pages and then finished it off. It would have been a good...
But listen, first of all, congratulations
Thank you.
On the success.
Thank you.
Today, what you posted on Instagram, okay, turning disbelievers to believers.
Yeah.
Okay, coming into your own?
Yeah, actually, it was something that I'm pretty realistic about life. You know, I'm not somebody who's living in delusion. What is the term?
Delulu.
I'm not delulu.
Delulu is no solulu.
Yeah, so I'm pretty practical that way. I was pretty aware about people either lost belief or they never believed and then they got a chance to say, see, we told you so, he's not going to be able to.
Yeah.
So turning the non-believers into believers is something that I did have in mind in life, and I've always operated from that. I was an underdog when I came out and my first film happened. I think bahut log bhul jate hain that era when we started making our debuts. It's not like today where, you know, there's a lot of inbuilt marketing that you already are aware of the things that are going to be launched.
That is absolutely true.
I'm not saying it's any better or worse. I'm just saying we came out of nowhere and our films became successes, even though we were from the industry.
Yeah.
So there was a lot less hype around us then.
Yeah.
And that time also I was an underdog. I was a producer's son. I was not XYZ, the actor or the star's son in that sense, if you look at it. So I always thought that there was a connect with the audience. Then there was a disconnect because films didn't do well. Then there was a phase where there's a lot of, unfortunately, society became a bit negative and a lot of negativity got heightened.
Yeah.
And hyped up because it became clickbait culture.
Yeah.
So even people that perhaps liked you started thinking otherwise. So there's a lot of doubt. And I think today when I was sitting, I was saying, okay, I'm sure not a lot of people hate you. I don't think it's that personal. But they lose connect with you.
Yeah.
Or they lose faith in you.
Yeah.
And I just felt when I was seeing all these, I've seen all these pages in the past also speak otherwise. And I've seen enough people speak otherwise. I've seen enough people on social media speak otherwise. It's not like I'm not aware.
Yeah.
So I said, "Theek hai yaar, this feels like a big win."
Yeah. For sure.
It's not a small win.
It is a very big win.
So the same people that doubted you or the same people that didn't believe in you and today are talking positively about you and accepting. I think I respect that also.
Yeah.
The fact that there are people accepting that we were wrong and he's pulled it off.
Yeah.
Even when the trailer came out, there were doubts to some degree, people wondering or asking questions.
Yeah.
I backed myself and I very silently allowed the film to do the talking.
Yeah.
So today felt like a nice validation for me to say thank you to the haters and the lovers.
No, but this is long time coming, man, honestly.
Thank you.
And I remember watching the film first day, first show at 7 a.m. And my favorite scene from the film, there are these two scenes that I have. I'm going to go scene by scene. The first one is your introduction scene. Of course, the introduction scene.
That's taken a life of its own, that scene.
Listen, when that scene was shot, did you know that, yaar, ispe seetiya log marenge?
Oh, I think we knew it's going to definitely create a reaction. I didn't think villain ki entry pe CT bajegi. I was more like, okay, dahshat honi chahiye, and Rohit sir was going to present me. So I was like, okay, people should feel that there is this character that's emerging. I didn't think it would have this. It's taken a life of its own. People call me. It's got a separate audience right now, the way they react to it. People are, and I guess credit to Rohit sir for imagining it. Credit to the entire team for executing it. And I think credit to me that I was able to perform it that way also.
Yeah.
So it just came together and it's taken a life of its own.
Damn.
I'm very happy about it. It's always good to have these moments that you can take ownership of.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of the fact that when I'm also doing action, the face and the eyes have a certain amount of intensity, which I take tremendous pride as an actor.
Yeah.
Just because you're doing action, your face has to still, and that's something that I feel in a close-up when you're doing action. If you can land with the reaction, you can land with that intensity.
Yeah.
That's, I think, where you add that little X factor that takes the scene to another level, you know, especially where action is concerned.
But I think that was always your strong point, yeah, Arjun. Even with Ishaqzade, when you did action, your face spoke so much.
I would like to believe so, but कई बार लोग भूल जाते तो याद दिलाना जरूरी होता है. It's fine. The smile, Ishaqzade was the smile, and today it's come back. It's fine, man. It's okay. I mean, there's been ups and downs, and I've always backed myself as an actor. My craft has been solid enough. Of course, I want to grow. I want to get better. That's why I worked with the Dibakar Banerjees of this world. At the end of the day, you want to get better as an actor. You don't ever want to stop improving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I came from a very solid base, which maybe got lost in all the chaos and the noise and the paraphernalia. And today, when I'm sitting, you're talking about it automatically. Even people are talking about from Parma to Danger Lanka. So Ishaqzade has become a reference point. It just feels nice that people are remembering my work on their own in a positive light versus a negative light. That's the biggest win. Which is the other scene that you like?
The second scene was the scene between you and Ranveer. I mean, that chemistry what I'd seen in Gunde.
My first day of shoot on the film. That's my first day of shoot on the film.
That was the first day of shoot?
That's my first day. When I'm sitting and watching him perform. That's my first day when I'm just sitting.
Listen, y'all are also friends, right? Like, how great does it also feel that you're also watching your co-star? I mean, both of y'all have had tremendous journeys.
Yeah, surreal moment to meet 8-9 years later. At that point, it was last year when we started, September end last year. Surreal that we had always joked about doing a Rohit Shetty film together and we were on set. He was playing a character that has got so loved. And I get to play an antagonist in front of him and we start the film like that. To watch Simba do, I was like, boss, we're in Singham. I'm like ready to do this. So his performance gave me a lot of power because he was in full form. And I saw his work ethic and I was like, this is the boy that I love working with because I also remembered Gunde. I was really happy. He was terrific. He's terrific in that scene in the end when he walks away from me. I think the yin and yang of our personalities plays really well because I'm just watching him like a silly child doing his thing and he's unabashedly being who he is. When he says, police aa rahi nahi, aa chuki hai. And then he realizes he says, main check karke aata hu. And he's walking and he's done a... Sometimes, you know, in a mainstream film, you don't get the kind of reaction for doing comedy of there's a one shot where he's walking away from me and he's talking and he starts imitating Ajay sir and then he reaches and then he runs.
Yeah, love that scene.
It's a very tough shot for an actor to get that timing and all. And he was bang on. And I was just so happy and proud to see this man on the top of his game with his craft.
Yeah.
I loved working with him. I think Rohit sir saw the energy and just allowed us to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's presented both of us really well.
Dude, he's presented you so well. Yeah. Were you nervous on the first day?
We did a test shoot when we did the look test and the test shoot. And I was stuttering with my lines slightly. And I'm very good with lines normally. And I was like, what's happening to me? And I kind of remembered that I've not shot a film in a long time. I'd not been on a set for a very long time at that point. So it wasn't that I was nervous. It's like, if exercise nahi karte to aap bhul jate, you know. So I was like, oh, okay. This is interesting. But I was like, okay, let's deal with it. And then the next day I came even more prepared.
Yeah.
And I got it, the line where there's a nice small trolley towards me and I'm saying, Jo chahiye, wahi sahi. When I'm, the whole dynamic of me explaining to him that you think what you are going through is an epiphany, what I went through is the struggle of life.
Yeah.
So then I got it right. But the first day I was not, I was a bit surprised by myself that, okay, if you let go, it takes a bit of time to catch back on. The look test helped a lot because Rohit sir had done the look test. So at least I knew physically I'm looking the part. So I was at ease at that. But I wanted to get some kind of tonality to performing him. And that took maybe the first day or two. But I'm very happy in retrospect that Ranveer and me did the first scene together because I'm
got
more...
the momentum also.
Also, I'm more of the observer in that scene and he's the doer.
Yeah.
So it allowed me to play with my body language. It allowed me to observe him. It allowed me to get into the world without me having to physically do too much. So I think in a strange sort of way, Ranveer's always been good for me in that sense. We've done good work together and Singham again is no exception.
But do you now know that in future, whenever there's a Ravan reference, your work is going to be held as a referral point also?
Well, I think that's a very big thing to say, Shravan. And in all fairness, if that happens, amazing. If it happens, I'll be very, very happy because that's great, but I genuinely don't have accountability of that in my head right now. I'm just happy that I'm going to be known as somebody who did this character really well.
Yeah. No, because I'll tell you why I'm saying it, okay? When I notice you, and I'm a huge, like, I love the Ramayana, okay? So much to a level that my Instagram handle is called Ravan Speaks.
Yeah, that
so when I saw you play Ravan, I'm like, oh my God, doing justice every bit of it. So that even there's a simple scene of you carrying Kareena and walking, okay? It's just your body language. And I'm like, you know what? So when I watched the film, you were not trying to be scary.
No.
You were just staying true to what your character was in the film. And I think that came very quite well. In fact, even that scene where you're that I am what he's doing, he thinks is right, but technically what I'm doing is also right. Somewhere my heart went out to you and I'm like, I get where he's coming from.
So you should be able to empathize with every character, regardless what side they're on in terms of the morality of it. You still understand why he's gone that way. I'm not trying to defend the structure of a mainstream entertainer beyond a point, because we know the heroes and villains. But at some point, if you can doubt your intent, which side are you on, and you're enjoying cheering for a villain just for a bit, I'll take that as a compliment.
It's a win. It's a win for sure.
And where Ravan is concerned, I think I played Danger Lanka.
Yeah.
The Ravan is happening. The Ramayana is happening as a story.
Yeah.
I didn't get too caught up in trying to pull off because the visual, again, the director's creating the narrative. That is the fire and all that, just the way he treated the first scene. He's creating the Ramayana. In my story, I am my hero.
Yeah.
So I'm playing out what is right for me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to play that with an absolute aggression and an absolute unhingedness to him. Where carrying this woman off, I do not believe anybody can touch me.
Yeah.
Because I'm protected and guarded, and what I'm doing is absolutely fine because it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
When I'm getting off that jeep, I'm going to do what I believe is the right thing. When I'm talking to Kareena and I'm telling her that what he does is right, but what I do is also right. He thinks he's right, but he's not always right.
Yeah.
I believe that. So I only did it with belief and conviction of Zubair, to be honest. If you find the Ravan comparison, it lands because I didn't try and do Ravan. I didn't get into that. I just tried to
just played your character.
Yeah, that's it.
This film was reunion for you also with Kareena and Deepika, bro. Matlab, Kian ka and Finding Fanny. But matlab, it's been years for that.
Yeah. Now that I look at the poster, I know most of them. I've worked with most of them. And now after this, I can say, मैंने industry के साथ तो काम कर ही किया. Kareena doesn't feel like a reunion because we are also so close. Even, to be honest, Ranveer and me, we've spent enough time together even when we are not shooting a film together. But yeah, I think I was very happy to work with Tiger. Only played football with him and hung out with him. And I've done 2 films with Jaggu Dada, ironically.
Yeah,
I told him also, he's played my father in Aurangzeb, and now we worked in this film also. And of course, for me, Akshay sir is somebody who I shot very little with, but to spend time with him on set was great fun. But for me, if I can really take home a relationship or an equation, apart from Rohit sir, who was the big maker that I was dying to work with, was I was completely enamored and besotted by the man that is Ajay Devgan, the persona, because of how nonchalant he is. And the way he carries himself. And the
he just exists, no?
The ease. And even the performance comes from that place. The lack of insecurity, the absolute grace, the lack of, being caught up in everybody. What is he doing? What is she doing? Allowing you to be in your own space. Big learning curve for me. Fine actor, no doubt. Great energy to have when you're doing an ensemble, because I think eventually there's an energy that needs to be created to do this kind of film. So the reunion was with the 2-3 that I know, but I think for me the biggest respectful feeling that I got out of this film, that I feel like I really, really admire the way an actor, after such a long career with so much of success, is conducting himself as Ajay sir completely. Of course, Akshay sir was having a blast. We played volleyball and we were fooling around and joking around and all that. And I would love to do a proper film with him soon. But it's a wish list tick mark for me to work with Ajay Devgan and Rohit Shetty put together. And to see them work in sync is amazing. It's like one line, Rohit sir says, Ajay sir says, okay, done, okay, ready, shoot, talk. Like they have some unbelievable chemistry and understanding together. They don't need to really go into too many details. They're just so clear. And it just shows, it reflects in the way they make films. It's amazing.
When you have a release, what is that Friday for you like? Is it more stressful for you, or is it more stressful for Mr. Boni Kapoor?
I'm sure it's very stressful for him. He doesn't tell me. And that's what most parents do, I think. Also, he's a way more positive person than I am. I'm very practical. I accept the reality much faster. He's a bit more defiant than me. He always I think he's seen more life, so he does believe miracles do exist and things do change and don't always have to be first day is not the last day. He's always a bit of a fighter that way, and I'm a little more pragmatic. Two sides of the same coin, but eventually he's more of a be patient, things will fall into place. And I'm like, what, the reality seems to be this, and you need to start processing.
But do you discuss this with him?
Eventually, not the first 3 days, nobody should discuss anything.
Yeah.
The first 3 days, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you should just allow the days to go by because आपने 1 साल पिक्चर बनाई है. 3 दिन तो आपको टाइम लगेगा. मंडे को आपको रियलिटी पता लगेगी. ट्यूसडे तक आप थोड़ा रियलिटी को एक्सेप्ट करोगे. तो वेडनेसडे थर्सडे बीत जाने के बाद ना अगले वीकेंड तक यू कैन सिट डाउन एंड हैव अ कॉन्वर्सेशन. दैट्स आल्सो व्हेन पीपल आर लेस टची. That's also when you can also articulate better.
Yeah.
The processing happens. The Fridays always just be there silently. Even if you know the truth, and even if it's doing really well, just be there silently.
Yeah.
Because Saturday can change things, and Monday can destroy things.
Yeah.
So I think
it's happened with you in the past.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've had good openings and then the films have not really panned out to match the first day number, for example. If you open at double digits and then you don't cross into the 80, 90 plus category, that means the film has somewhere got left behind in that sense. So yeah, my dad is somebody who I'm sure goes through his beats, but he also knows I'm somebody too practical, so he doesn't like to engage because I'll tell him the practical part. So he gets irritated about it. My Fridays are not the best. Of late, obviously, but not the best in the sense I like to be on my own. On the release, because I just feel whatever it is, I need to know my truth. And I'm okay reading a review or reading a reaction or being told the numbers or whatever, but I don't like to project my energies onto anybody. Because you go through a varied amount of emotion. So I like to be on my own on that day. It's absolutely fine. And that's what happened this day also. Actually, I went to the temple. I came home, I did the Diwali Puja. Rohit sir called me at about 2. I got a couple of messages from my team and calls. I got a couple of messages from the media. So I knew, okay, there's momentum and the numbers seem to be healthy. And I went to sleep for 2 hours because I had not slept the night before. And at 6 o'clock, I felt like the whole world is with me when I woke up. Because my phone had just gone off the hook. It had just exploded. Because I guess people had finished their pujas and all in the morning and really started going. And by 6, 7, 8 p.m., my phone had just gone berserk. I literally was alone, but I felt like I'm surrounded by the audience. And I can never explain that feeling because...
Were you teary-eyed?
No, I wasn't. I was just very chilled. I was very mellow. And I was in that moment. And that's why I can describe the moment to you because I was there.
Makes sense.
I just lived that moment and I was like, wow, it's amazing that people are reacting to the performance. See, I always knew the numbers are going to come for the film. It's Singham again, for God's sake. It's not like it's not a film that nobody knows the whole. You have to live under a stone to not know this film is coming on Diwali. But I didn't expect at 6 p.m. my introduction scene would get me messages and Instagram screenshots and a genuine reaction where I could sense, okay, they've connected with the character, they've connected with the presentation, they've connected with the telling of Danger Lanka. So I was very, very, very mellow about it, and I remember that moment very clearly.
Do you think you're too harsh on yourself?
Of course.
Why?
I'm an overthinker by nature. I'm also harsh on myself because it's not. This is. We'll have to sit up and talk about therapy and all that. And then,
it feels like a therapy session right now.
It will become
But I
heavy.
genuinely feel like you're too harsh on yourself sometimes.
No, I am, but that also comes from the self-flagellating, comes from the fact that I've also had a lot of loss in my life, Shravan. So what happens is you're always scared to be happy because you feel कोई ना कोई आके कुछ बुरा कर जाएगा, या मैं ज़्यादा खुश नहीं होते कुछ बुरा होने ही वाला है. Now, these are all psychological things. Now, where we'll get into this on a success interview.
That is true. True.
I don't want to dampen other people's spirits while talking about the moments of self-hate and sabotage that happens. Also, the profession.
Yeah.
What happens is you try and stay positive, you try and stay in control. Then a few films don't pan out. There's a lot of negativity that festers around you.
Yeah, makes sense.
You don't want to, but subconsciously you start believing, are they right and I'm wrong? You question things. You find it hard to believe sometimes when people are being nice to you or they're saying nice things also because you're like, "Arey, ye to bahut saalon se nahi hua." But that's also because in the same profession, when I was once loved a lot, I maybe perhaps made a few bad films. But there was a lot of negativity that they forced down my throat because I was easy clickbait culture.
Yeah.
Also because I take criticism very gracefully. I've never ever come out and spoken about it.
Yeah.
But just because you are okay with taking a punch doesn't mean you like being punched.
Yeah.
But then you kind of get used to being punched. So you accept, and then you start believing that you are actually not where you put yourself. You're actually where people are trying to put you down.
Yeah.
And that's the fight. That's the inner struggle, and that's something that you have to fight through.
Yeah.
You have to rise to the occasion. You have to turn the non-believers into believers, like we spoke about. But the struggle is constant. There's a push and pull.
For sure.
Maybe you've met me at times where I'm being pulled down and bogged down a lot more. But I'm hoping that tomorrow, when you see me in the near future, I'll be pushing upwards more than pulling myself down.
Yeah, for sure. More power to you for that.
Thank you, man.
The last two coming your way quickly. What we're going to do is we're going to manifest new things for you in 2024. We're already ending 2024. So 2025, what are we manifesting? 3 manifestations.
Calmness.
Okay.
Calmness and more calmness.
Perfect. And the last one coming your way, it's International Men's Day that's coming. What would you like to tell men today?
Listen. Stop talking and listen. Especially to the opposite sex.
Perfect. On that note, thank you so much, Arjun. Congratulations for you for all the success that you're getting for Singham again, because you genuinely have come into your own with this one. Every damn scene of the film screams Arjun Kapoor loud and clear.
Thank you.
So more power to you and more success to you coming your way in 2025 and 2026 and 27, 8, 9, 10. I'm hoping to see you super soon. Till then, this one is a wrap.